Welcome back to the Now Morning Show. I am Kimberly D'Souza and a good Wednesday morning to you. Well, this is our spotlight on Now, and we will be talking to the Minister of Works and Transport, Minister Rohan Sinanan, who will be providing some update on the licensing mobile buses that we have actually roving through communities and offering services in the licensing department. Minister Sinanan, good morning.
Good morning to you. Good morning to your co-host. Good morning to all the staff at TTT. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago.
Hi, morning, Minister, and welcome to the Now Morning Show.
Thank you.
Now, I know, Minister, I think last year it was that we had one of the buses stationed at the Caroni licensing office, if I'm not mistaken. But I realized that we actually have it going to communities now. Can you tell us a little bit about the program? Which communities has the buses visited so far?
Okay, so as you're aware, that licensing on the move, as we refer to it, is basically bringing the license office to the rural communities. So far, we would have visited places like Toko, Waterloo, Mayaro. Yesterday, we were in Karanaj, Caroni. Today, we are looking at other areas because one of the challenges that you have is the fact that you have to ensure that the signal can afford the service, meaning everything is done in real time and it is connected right back to the head office at Caroni. So the long-term plan is to go to all the rural areas. And so far, we have visited a couple of the areas on 2 occasions. We try to carry the bus every fortnight. So we do have a schedule so that people can, work around the schedule. So far, we have seen over 5,000 people at these buses at the different locations. And I can tell you it is really one of the successes at license office because you don't have to have an appointment to go to the bus once the bus is in your area. It have really helped us during the pandemic to boost the service. Once the buses are not out, like today, one of the buses, I think it's going deep in the south to test the signal. The other buses at the Caroni side. So once they're not out, they will stay on the Caroni side and we will be able to double up the amount of appointments at Caroni on the buses. So again, it's really a success. And I think the communities are very happy because I can tell you when we went up to Toko, I paid that visit with them and we had people from Matplot and so coming down to Kumana, and they were really, really happy. When we went up to Mayaro, again, the Mayaro site saw over 700 people so far on the 2 visits that we did up there. So we are actually doing as much with the buses that we would normally do at Caroni. And when you consider Caroni was a over $250 million investment with everything, and then you have these buses that cost, $750,000 doing the same amount of services. I mean, it is really, technology is really the way to go. And I'm really happy that the license office would have been able to move from where they were 4 years ago, where I would think they were considered as one of the more backward government service areas because everything was manual. I mean, you had to wait 6-7 months to do a simple transaction. You couldn't renew a taxi badge. To the point now where the license office, I would think, is the driving force behind technology in all government services. I think we need to pay some sort of, tribute to the staff at license office for embracing technology in the way they did.
Now, Minister, as you mentioned, the renewal of the driver's license, can you tell us some of the services that will be offered at the mobile buses?
Yeah, well, you can do a wide range of services. You can do your renewals. You can apply for your certified copies. There's several services that you can do at the license office, at the actual offices that you can do on the bus. Basically, what we're trying to do is to roll out these buses in areas like if we use community centers and so eventually you will be able to do down to your driving test. Once the facilities are able to handle it, because it's a computerized system linked direct to license office. So you can renew permits, you can apply for certified copies, you can do several services that you would normally do at the license office, except at this point in time, things like your driving test and so.
Right. Now, Minister, you said that it is a walk-in service, so no appointment is needed, right? You can just walk in wherever the bus is stationed.
Right. No appointment is needed. And you know, we could normally have two buses on site. You have two buses on site. So you can see average 250 people, you know, once they different. We do put systems in place to make sure that we have the social distancing and so because we do send our staff, our complimentary staff, with the companies, the staff on the buses. And so far, I must say that you know the population have accepted it. They have acted responsible once the buses go out, and I mean it just takes minutes to have your permits renewed and so you know, you can probably have your permits renewed in 2 minutes at these buses. So it's managed pretty well, and I think these services is really you know comfort to the rural areas. It is something that I think was long overdue. We came up with the idea about 2 years ago. We bought the buses. We started in October last year, and as I said, the buses would have seen in excess of probably close to 5,000 citizens with their transactions already. The buses do not accept cash. You have to
Right.
have a links card, which I don't think is a challenge again in Trinidad and Tobago. And again, it's everything is done in real time. So you know you do your transactions and everything is done on the spot.
Now, Minister, you said it's for residents of the area. So, for example, if I'm on my way, let's say to Port of Spain, and I'm from Curup, and I see one of the buses in Barataria, can I stop out and make an appointment, or I have to be a resident of that area?
No. You can stop and I mean, and you will be facilitated. We have had instances where people would have drove up to the rural areas on the coast and so, and they renew their permit and then they spend the day up there as an excursion. The buses are stationed in rural areas, and obviously it is for the people in the rural areas. But if there are people from the outside who comes to for the service, they will not be refused. The idea of taking like snuff is to this new level using technology is where everything goes back to a central database. So no longer you have to do a transaction at one office and remain at that office for the rest of the services because it's all centralized now. I mean, in the past, if you renew your permit in our ARIMA, you'll have to go back to ARIMA to renew your permit and you'll have to go back through a book and everything was handwritten and things like that. There's nothing like that anymore. You can renew your permit anywhere. As a matter of fact, two new services that we're expecting to come online very shortly will be the provisional permits online and renewal of your driver's permit online. What it simply means is that you'll be uploading all your information from home with the relevant documents. And then when you go to license office, it's just a matter of rechecking the documents. So within 5 minutes, they should be able to recheck your documents. You'll upload your pictures and so from home. So you don't have to go to you know the camera department and move from one department to the other department. There'll be no writing of any information. Everything will be uploaded, it will be printed, verified, and in and out the license office within 5 to 10 minutes.
Now, Minister, in terms
That
of
is the sort of
renewal,
service that we are offering
now in terms
at
of
license
renewal
office.
and stuff, are there specific documents I need to bring to the appointment?
Well, it's the normal documents that you normally do for your renewal, and everything is on the ministry's website. Even the buses, they will tell you on the website where the buses will be on specific days because these buses are roving buses, but they do operate with a schedule. So we try to the fixed areas that we have, we try to visit them every fortnight. But if you check the ministry's website, you will be able to identify where the buses will be on specific dates. No, this is not the substitute for the license offices. We do still have all the services at the license offices, but this is just one way that we got around the amount of appointments that we would have had because we had to schedule the appointments for the COVID period. It have helped us significantly, and we do see a lot of citizens now trying to comply with the rules and regulations of being able to use the road network in Trinidad. I can tell you the license office have seen a uptick in compliance. We are trying to verify all the records at the license office because you can only be fully computerized once all your records are updated, and we're about 95% there. So it's a great accomplishment, and I think very soon we'll see the back of this whole nightmare of visiting a license office. The idea is that you should only visit license office if you have a problem. You should be able to conduct most of your transaction online. And if you do have to go to license office, it's just for verification. And so we're also moving to vehicle registration and so online, even the transfer of vehicles and so. So when you go to license office to transfer a vehicle, it's just a very short time you'll have to spend to verify the information, verify the vehicle numbers, the chassis numbers, but most of your transaction would have already been uploaded online.
Now,
Even
Minister,
inspections.
I know that we're talking about the rural communities in Trinidad, but in terms of Tobago, will buses also be going across the island?
Yes, that is also included. At least twice a month, we'll be trying to send the buses will be visiting Tobago to the rural areas. And that scheme is being worked on immediately. So very soon we'll see these buses in Tobago. My information is they have already started to test the signals in the different areas in Tobago, because signals are very important for this to be successful. And the buses are for Trinidad and Tobago.
Now, Minister, in terms of the cost, is it 700,000 or 750,000 you said for the buses? And how many would have government spent on this? How much money?
I think it's around $750,000. Now, that is for outfitting the buses and everything. Now, if you consider $750,000, and these buses would have, and I don't want to say would have paid for themselves, because we must understand the license office generates revenue if it is run properly. If people, abide by the law and you renew your vehicles, your license on time, inspection, they cost money. But license office has to do a lot with road safety, because when we inspect vehicles, it's not just about collecting revenue. It's about ensuring that the vehicles are safe for the road to protect lives. And we have been doing a very good, the figures will tell us that we have improved on road safety in Trinidad. If you go back to 2017, we have had a consistent reduction in road fatalities. I think last year we would have had the lowest road fatality in 65 years, which is significant. The year before it was the lowest, I think, in 50 years. And we have had this consistent reduction in road fatality because of the things that we would have put in place, the demerit point system, the tightening up of most of the laws, working with the TTPS. And so license office does play a major role in road safety. In terms of the revenue aspect of it, I can tell you within 1 month, these buses operating just out of the Caroni site would have collected enough revenue that for the cost of the buses. So it really was a win-win all the way around. We did not have to put static offices in all these different areas, because just the construction of the buildings alone and the staffing in these areas and so would have cost us significantly more. We are getting the same service by the, as we say, licensing on the move.
Yeah. Now, Minister, I know that you said that we can go. We have a few minutes left, but I know you said that they can go to the website. But just anybody who's listening who might be looking out for this, can you give us an idea of where the buses will be heading to next?
Okay, as I said today, one of the buses will be stationed at Caroni, because we are using one of the buses to go around today to look at sites where we can get a strong signal, because this is something that is now being rolled out in most areas. So I can't tell you offhand today where the other bus is, because it's not a bus that is going out to do transactions. It's going out to test the site, and they will probably do just 1 or 2 transactions to make sure that the signal is strong enough. But what I've asked them to do at license office is to, rather than just have it on the Ministry of Works website, we will actually use some little column in the newspaper and try to probably use stations like yourself from time to time to put out the schedule.
Nice. And Minister, we have a few minutes left. Anything else you want to add? I know that you mentioned that we can look out for the schedule on the website and, of course, using mass media. But anything else we may have missed before we wrap up?
Sure. Again, what we'll probably be rolling out, we have actually started to roll out, and next week we will invite the media to look at the garages we would have had some significant challenge in the past with the inspection of vehicles. And you would have heard a lot of people talking about stickers, and then you heard people saying about, there are vehicles on the road that are inspected, and it's impossible to understand how these vehicles could have passed an inspection. What we'll be rolling out officially from next week, although we have started it in some of the garages because we have over 100 garages to bring online, is a fully computerized inspection system where your vehicles must go to a garage, must be on the pit in order to be qualified as an inspected vehicle. So it's the rolling out of the virtual computerization of the inspection system, where pictures of the vehicle on the pit must be uploaded. The system will ensure that the inspector inspects every aspect of the vehicle that has to be inspected. And if the vehicle does not pass the inspection, a sticker cannot be printed going forward. So this is, again, bringing in technology to, I would say, cut down on some of the unethical practices that happen at the license offices and some of the inspection garages in the past.
Yes.
That is something that we're really looking forward to, because that have posed a major challenge for us, where vehicles would have been stickered as inspected, but we know for a fact these vehicles never visited a garage, never came to the license office. That will also help us to identify a lot of the illegal vehicles on the road, because if the records are not correct at the license office, the vehicle will not be able to be inspected because a sticker will not be able to be printed, and that vehicle will then have to report to license office for an explanation on how this vehicle is really on the road. Those are some of the things we're looking at. When you go to do your provisional permit classes and so at the license office now, you'll have cameras in the classroom. And all these things are to give that comfort that that there's some of these unethical practices that happen at the license office. We can minimize on them. It is a bit difficult to crack down on every area that we would have had complaints about at the license office at one time, but we are moving in the right direction to sort of stem the stigma that was attributed to license office in the past.
Thank you so much, Minister Sinanan, because what I'm hearing as well is accountability, I'm hearing responsibility, I'm hearing transparency. So I hope that all these things will actually be resolved with the new system. So thank you so much.
Since we started these new systems, we have seen the revenue at license office improve significantly.
Nice.
And the big question is, why was that not done before? So I would give the staff at the license office, the Transport Commissioner and his team, the team at the Ministry of Works, some kudos for actually taking up this fight. When I started this drive, I was told by a former commissioner that they don't believe in computers. And I remember putting in the first set of computers there and they just went missing. But we have moved away from that, where we have a total embracing of the technology at the license office. And again, I want to compliment the staff at the license office, the staff at the Ministry of Works, for actually being, in my opinion, one of the drivers of technology in the government service.
Minister, thank you so much for joining us on the Now Morning Show. I think we're going to have you back to discuss some of that. But of course, thank you so much for sharing the information. And I think we will be looking forward to the schedule in the papers. So thanks again.
Anytime. Thank you.
And that was Minister Sinanan talking about the licensing office's buses. We're going to take a quick break. Stay with us.